So I got to review Sleepaway Camp 2 now. Well, I enjoyed the first one, so it ain't no skin off my tits. Hello there everybody and welcome back to Movie Squirm. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 1988 slasher sequel Sleepaway Camp 2 Unhappy Campers, and this is directed by Michael A. Simpson and stars Pamela Springsteen and Renee Estevez. This tells the story of the murderess Angela, who is now a camp counselor at a different camp to the first movie, and once again the bodies start to pile up as the psychotic Angela does what she does best. Well, after watching the first Sleepaway Camp film and quite enjoying it, if you want to see my review for that, the link will be down below. I instantly wanted to watch Sleepaway Camp 2. Now, I know the first one was okay and I had fun with it, but it did have a lot of problems, so I didn't expect too much from this one going in, because low-budget horror sequels, especially from the 80s and 90s, tend to not turn out very well. So going in, hardly any expectations at all. Now, this is gonna be a spoiler review, so I am gonna talk ins and outs of the story and the kills and stuff. So if you don't want to know all of that, please come back after watching the movie. But if you're not bothered or you've seen the film, let's just find out what I thought of Sleepaway Camp 2. First off, the whole 80s cheesy vibe is here that was ever present in the first film, and for me, that's a bonus, because as much as people may not like that who would watch it today, there's just a certain charm from it, and I grew up in a decade where that all worked for me, so I was happy to see that here once again. One thing that struck me straight away, though, is that Angela is just working at this camp. I mean, she's just there. Wasn't really much of an explanation as to why. More on that in a minute. But I also noticed that she wasn't played by Felicia Rose. She was actually played by Pamela Springsteen, who is the sister of Bruce Springsteen, believe it or not. But she is the absolute best thing about Sleepaway Camp 2. She just brings so much of this weirdness to this character, and I honestly could not take my eyes off her. The other campers call her all kinds. You know, they say she's a weirdo, she's not all there, and she's just crazy. And my God, they're right. She is just so strange in this movie. She's overly nice in a kind of freaky way. But step out of line and you're going to be sent home. Or so she tells people here. And what I mean by that is, if you have fun, but not within the rules, or you kind of cross the line ever so slightly, you sneak out of your bunk at night and Angela finds out, you might just be burned to a crisp or carved up into pieces. Yes, that's the types of punishments Angela is handing out here to the campers, and I was all for it. I mean, this was bloody fantastic to watch.
I found her doing things with the boys last night that she had no business doing.
I mean, she's just this real jobsworth who takes her job way too seriously. She's the ultimate murderous prefect, if you like. I think that's the best way I can put it. And this is just a totally different approach to the character from the first film. In the first film, she's really, really shy, but here, she's just the total opposite. And although I do have a little bit of a problem with that, which I'll speak about later, I do appreciate it when sequels just do something different. And that takes away the whole whodunit aspect as well, because in the first film, a lot of the kills were from first-person points of view and stuff, but here, we're just handed the killer on a plate, and the movie just runs with that. So they didn't just go to another camp and have a whodunit killer and replace Angela with someone else. They, again, just done something different here by us knowing who the killer is. And again, it's a sequel that plays out way differently to the first one and isn't just a rehash of the original. So again, I respect it for that. I think the writers and the director of this film just said, yeah, we've got a cool killer called Angela here, and we're just going to go with it and have fun, because the body count here is way higher than the first film. I wouldn't be surprised if it's kind of triple what the first film was, maybe even more. And there is a lot of creative stuff going on here as well. Angela basically drowns this girl in the toilet at one point, which was one of my favourite scenes in the movie, and she kept pulling her head back up by her hair, and there was like kind of shit and dirty water all over her face. But there was also leeches there as well, which was kind of weird, just to see leeches on this girl's face. We also get people burnt, stabbed up, drilled. There's plenty on offer here for slasher fans. However, my absolute favourite moment in this movie was when these two campers dress up as Freddy and Jason at one point, and they're playing pranks on the other campers and stuff. And Angela is having none of that, so she just goes and dresses up as Leatherface. I'm not even joking. If you haven't seen this film, this actually happens in this movie, and it's sort of the movie knowing what it is. It's kind of mocking itself a little bit there. But Angela just starts carving people up with a chainsaw, and man, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, yes, this movie rules. There's also a knife stabbing scene here, but you only see the shadow against the wall, and the knife is just coming up and down, and I just thought, not only are they mocking Nightmare on Elm Street, Jason and Leatherface here, but also that is meant to be from Psycho. This movie just brings the fun factor. And the third act of this movie just elevates even more. This is where the bodies really do pile up. I really loved it when we went to Angela's little house of horrors, where she's been keeping all these dead bodies that she's been piling up throughout the movie in this little hut. And there's even a decapitation scene here to a character who was really likable in the movie, and I just didn't see that coming at all. It was a little bit of a shocking moment, that one. So yeah, the third act is just balls to the wall, fun and carnage. I also think Molly was a decent main protagonist to get behind here. She's a little bit more shy than the other girls, but definitely more likable. And Angela does see something in here, because Angela used to be that shy girl in the first movie. I mean, she doesn't see the murderous side in her, but she sees, you know, the quiet girl side. She was a bully victim like Molly a little bit, because the other girls kind of don't like her. And I thought the movie done well to play on that just a little bit there, to give them a little bit of a connection, even though Molly probably won't want to know anything about her anymore, or not want to see it again after she finds out what she's done. But it was still a fun little side subplot, I suppose. And Angela didn't really want to harm her, so I thought that was quite cool. If Angela can get behind her, us as the viewers can. The movie is really funny too. Like, the pranks that the other kids are playing on each other, the fun kills, like there's some funny moments within the kill scenes here. And just some of the dialogue was off the scale. This is humour that just resonated with me. Like I said, this movie is just a fun time. It's kind of got a lot of different entertainment involved in it.
Thanks for picking me up. Who? Ain't no skin off my tits.
There's also a ton of tits in here too. Yes, if tits are your thing, you're going to see plenty of them here. I mean, there's this female character in the movie. I think she's got her t-shirt off more times than on. So if that's your thing, you'll be happy. But I do think it was overloaded here. I mean, I know a lot of 80s slashers have nudity in. This one just seemed very, very forced in, and an excuse to get women's tops off, I suppose. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. However, this film does have a few negatives about it as well. Some major gripes I had. Now, one of them is going back to Angela. She is definitely the best part of this movie for me. But my biggest problem is that it doesn't feel like the same character at all from the first movie. In the first film, she was really, really shy. And here, she's just never stopped smiling. She's very upbeat. And she never, ever shuts up. And also, she didn't even look like the Angela from the first film. She did not look like Felissa Rose to me. Now, I know there's a mention in this movie of she became more confident after the first film and found out who she was, whether that is a murderous killer or not. But I just couldn't connect like that. I just see these characters as two totally different people. I still have a fun time with both, but I have a hard time connecting them, especially after watching Sleepaway Camp 1 and 2 back to back. I also don't think Angela, being this camp counselor, was explained very well. I read the summary on Letterboxd, and it said Angela escapes from a mental institute and is now a camp counselor. But I don't remember that ever being mentioned in this film. If it did, I missed it, and it must have only been for a short time. But I kind of wish the movie sort of explained that a bit better, or maybe done an opening scene of her escaping the mental institution. I just think that would have added a lot more to the story. But unfortunately, she was just there. She was just right there from the off in the first opening scene. There's also some very strange dialogue here. I find this a lot with 70s and 80s horror movies, that the dialogue is just absurd. Like, some people, they just wouldn't, or most people wouldn't say these lines of dialogue in real life, and they're just reading off a script, basically. For example, one moment, this girl goes up to Molly and says something to her and says, "You just leave me alone," literally after 5 seconds of going up to her. I'm like, you're the one who went up to her, now you're telling her to leave you alone. And there's hardly anything between them two girls throughout the movie where Molly would be harsh on her or anything. It just felt very out of place. But there's so many moments here with the dialogue, just it wasn't landing for me. Also, I don't want to give this too much of a hard time because I know this film is low budget from almost 40 years ago now. But some of the practical effects do look a little bit too fake there. Like the decapitation scene I mentioned earlier, that looked fake as hell. There's a burnt body that's been burned to a crisp, but you can tell they just got like this toy skeleton and put a few black ashes on it. But on one hand, that is bad. But on the other hand, I would take bad practical effects over mediocre CGI. And we see that a lot in movies today. I'm just going to go ahead and make this movie now. I'm going to give Sleepaway Camp 2 Unhappy Campers a 6.5 out of 10. I do think the first movie is slightly better overall, but this is definitely going to go down as a guilty pleasure of mine. And who knows, on rewatch, I might enjoy it even more. But what I will say, compared to the first one, if you put both of them in front of me now, even though the first one is overall better, for rewatchability factor, I'm probably going to go with this one, just because I had a little bit more fun with it. And yeah, this movie is insane. Okay, at the end of these reviews, I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, a fun fact for Sleepaway Camp 2 is that Felicity Rose was actually called back to do some lines for the role of Angela, but she couldn't quite land the comedic tone, so the director and the casting crew went with someone else in Pamela Springsteen. And she was also off to college, which would have conflicted with filming schedules, so they just thought that was the best thing to do. Okay guys, I hope you all enjoyed this review. Please don't forget to check out the original movie review down below, and if you enjoyed this, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. I'm also going to be reviewing Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland, I believe it's called, and the fourth and fifth one at some point, and I'll do a big ranking of the series from worst to best after it. So if you want all that good stuff, don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Are you a fan of this movie? Do you hate it? Does the cheese not work for you? Do you find it as fun as I did? Let me know. Thanks so much everyone, take it easy, and I'll see you all on the next video.